I was kneeling, tightening the valve beneath the shower head, when the bathroom door suddenly swung open with such force that a cold draft rushed in. I glanced up, expecting to see my wife, Ingrid, walking in with her usual graceful ease. But what I saw made my heart skip a beat. She stood there completely undressed, her chest rising and falling in quick, shallow breaths. Droplets of sweat glistened on her flushed skin, as if she had either run a long distance or had just been somewhere she shouldn't have been. "Darling, I need to shower right now," she gasped, brushing past me so urgently that she nearly knocked me off balance. A frown creased my forehead. Ingrid had never been the type to rush anywhere, let alone act so desperate for a shower. I straightened up, wiping my damp hands against my jeans, a strange unease tightening in my chest. "Can't you wait a moment?" I asked, my voice steady but tinged with suspicion. She didn't respond. Instead, she twisted the shower knob to full blast, letting the hot water cascade over her, as if she were trying to wash something away. Something she didn't want me to see. Something wasn't right. I turned to step away, giving her space, but my gaze lingered just for a second on the curve of her thigh. Under the harsh bathroom light, something caught my eye, a mark on her skin. Faint but unmistakable. A handprint. A red, distinct handprint. A handprint that did not belong to me. Time slowed. My breath caught in my throat. My pulse pounded in my ears, and a cold wave of realization crashed over me, leaving me frozen, numb, yet seething. That mark, it was too large to be mine, too fresh to be from an accident. For a moment, I just stood there, my mind scrambling for an explanation that wouldn't tear my world apart. Had she fallen? Was it an old bruise? But deep down, I already knew the truth. Ingrid turned slightly, her fingers trailing through the streaming water, seemingly unaware of the storm raging inside me. "Victor, could you give me some privacy?" she asked, her voice smooth, controlled. But something in it cracked at the edges. I didn't respond. I simply stepped back, my hands trembling, my jaw clenched so tightly it ached. My mind raced, replaying the past few weeks, the late nights, the hushed phone calls, the way she had grown distant, guarded. I had told myself I was imagining things, that work had been keeping her busy. I should have trusted my instincts. A bitter taste filled my mouth as I backed out of the bathroom, my breaths heavy, my fists clenched. I needed answers. The doubts, the quiet suspicions, the uneasy feeling I had ignored for too long. It all came crashing down at once. The door creaked behind me. Then I heard her voice again, softer this time, almost hesitant. "Victor?" I didn't turn. I couldn't. If I did, I wasn't sure I could stop myself from demanding the truth right then and there. But then something inside me snapped. I spun on my heel, storming back into the bathroom. My movements were sharp, barely containing the fury surging inside me. The door slammed behind me with a force that made Ingrid jump. Her eyes widened, and she instinctively took a step back, clutching herself, as if she could shield herself from the weight of my anger. "What the hell is going on, Ingrid?" My voice was low, dangerous, the kind of tone that sent shivers down a person's spine. "Are you cheating on me?" Her mouth parted, but no words came out. Instead, her eyes darted to the side, flickering with something I had never seen in her before. Guilt. "Victor, what are you talking about?" she stammered, but her voice wavered. I took a step closer. "Don't lie to me," I growled. "What is that on your thigh? Tell me. Right now." A heavy silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. Her lips trembled, but she still refused to speak. That silence was an answer in itself. A bitter, merciless kind of clarity settled over me. The truth wasn't just lingering in the air. It was written all over her. The marks on her skin, the guilt in her eyes, the way her breath hitched as she desperately searched for an excuse, a way out. She had betrayed me. And in that moment, as the realization solidified like ice in my veins, something else ignited within me. This wasn't just about heartbreak. It was about revenge. "I know you've been seeing someone else," I said, my voice low and steady, though rage simmered beneath the surface. My eyes burned into hers, unwavering. "This mark, Ingrid. How long has it been going on?" For a brief moment her expression cracked. Panic flickered in her eyes. She looked as if she might break down right there in front of me. But just as quickly, She forced the emotion away, her face hardening as she took a step closer, as if trying to regain control. Victor, please, she started. But I had no patience for her games. Stop lying, I roared, my voice echoing off the bathroom tiles. I saw the handprint, Ingrid. I saw the marks. Don't insult me by pretending I didn't. You think I'm stupid? You think I can't see what's happening right in front of me? Her face twisted, and for the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. It was too late for denials. Too late for apologies. The damage was done. Victor, she stammered. But I was done listening to her half-formed excuses. I want to know everything. My voice was chillingly calm now, steady in a way that made her hesitate. How long has it been going on? Who is he? Tell me everything. She took a step back, as if the weight of the question had physically knocked her off balance. Her fingers trembled as she looked down, searching for an answer, for some way to manipulate her way out of this. But I wasn't in the mood for her deception. Not anymore. I can't, she whispered. I can't tell you. It's complicated. Complicated? I let out a bitter laugh. You think this is complicated? No, Ingrid. You made a choice. A very simple one. And now, you're going to face the consequences. I never wanted to hurt you, she insisted, her voice cracking. Victor, I never wanted. Don't. I cut her off sharply. Don't tell me you never wanted to hurt me. You already did. The fury in my voice was barely restrained, seething through every syllable. You've been seeing someone behind my back, sneaking around like a coward. And now you stand here pretending to be innocent. What am I supposed to believe, Ingrid? What exactly is your excuse? Her lips trembled, and this time, real tears welled up in her eyes. But I didn't feel sorry for her. Not anymore. I'm sorry, Victor, she whispered. But the words were hollow, meaningless. It just happened, she added weakly. It just happened. I repeated, my anger turning cold and heavy. No, Ingrid. It didn't just happen. You chose this. You chose him. You chose to lie to me. To betray me. I took a step closer, my voice lowering to a dangerous whisper. And now, you're going to feel the consequences of your actions. Her face went pale. Victor, please, she pleaded, panic rising in her voice. For a moment, I almost felt something, pity, sadness, maybe even the ghost of the love I once had for her. But then I remembered the sickening feeling in my stomach when I saw that handprint. The weeks of doubt. The quiet betrayals hidden in her every movement. No, she didn't deserve mercy. I need to know everything, I said, my voice unwavering. Who is he? Her lips parted, then shut again, as if she was battling with herself. But she knew there was no way out now. Finally, in a near whisper, she said, his name is Lars. He's a colleague from work. The name hit me like a gut punch. My mind flashed through the times I had met her co-workers. The casual greetings, the polite small talk. Had he been there, smirking behind my back, pretending to shake my hand while secretly touching my wife? How long? I demanded. A few months, she admitted, her voice barely audible. A few months. While I had been coming home, telling her about my day, making plans for the future, she had been with him. I didn't want it to happen like this, she continued, her voice breaking. I was going to end it, I swear, Victor. I didn't want to hurt you. Her words only made my fury burn hotter. You didn't want to hurt me? I scoffed. That's your excuse? She flinched. This wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. This was about betrayal. About justice. About revenge. I took a slow step back, inhaling deeply, letting the weight of what she had done settle into my bones. My mind was already moving, calculating. I wasn't going to be the kind of man who simply confronted his wife and moved on. No, Ingrid had made a choice. And now, she was going to learn what it felt like to lose everything. You think I'll just forgive you, don't you? I asked coldly. That I'll yell, cry, and somehow let this slide? Her lips parted, but she had no answer. Well, that's not going to happen. I exhaled slowly, my decision made. You betrayed me, Ingrid. And now, you'll see how it feels when trust is destroyed. She reached for my arm, desperation in her touch, but I pulled away sharply, my expression ice cold. Victor, please. Don't do this. But it was too late for pleading. Without another word, I turned on my heel and walked out, leaving her standing in the bathroom, naked, exposed. Not just in body but in her guilt. In the days that followed, Ingrid tried everything to convince me she was sorry. She apologized over and over, her voice raw with regret. But I wasn't interested in apologies. I was focused on one thing, making sure she understood the gravity of her betrayal. I played my cards carefully. I didn't yell. I didn't lash out. I became colder, distant, methodical. And when she left, I made sure her world crumbled along with her lies. Anonymously, I sent a message to Lars's wife, detailing the affair in excruciating detail. Evidence included. The fallout was swift and brutal. Ingrid's secret was exposed. Her perfect little deception shattered. I had once imagined revenge as loud, dramatic confrontations, screaming matches, broken glass. But real revenge was quiet. It was strategic. It was about control. And as I sat in my apartment, watching the sun set over the harbor, I felt a strange sense of peace settle over me. Ingrid had tried to take everything from me. But in the end, I was the one who walked away stronger. She learned the hard way. The truth always comes to light.